he has experience selling his company. I have never sold my company, so it's great.
There's a certain point where your investment, you don't see the payout, you don't see the payout, you don't see the payout, but then at some point you're getting a bubble.
So a lot of people try to read a manual or try to study by books, and then they kind of forget about it in the daily routine. So I say, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start today. So Max.
Okay, cheers.
Here is Max from Seattle. Good to see you again. When the last time I saw you?
Good to see you, man. 11 years ago. No. 2 years ago.
No.
2 years.
2, 3 years.
Yeah. Yes, and due to COVID,
Yeah, you couldn't travel.
hard to travel.
Yeah. How was your flight from Seattle?
It's really good. Yeah, not very busy.
15 hours? Is it?
Yeah, 15, 16 hours in total. A little bit of delays, but it's a direct flight, which is great.
What time did you arrive at the Changi airport?
11:40 p.m.
11:40 p.m. And you left local time around 11 a.m.?
11 a.m. Yeah. Yeah.
So you must be tired by the time you got here.
Well, I was sleeping, so I wasn't totally tired. So it took me like a good 3 hours. Like 3 a.m. I fell asleep, I think. So,
Yeah.
but it's good. It's always fun to travel. Like,
Because when I got here, I got to do 7-day quarantine. We just got out.
after 6
Next
hours.
day, after 6 hours.
6 hour quarantine after the PCR test. That's right.
That's good.
Yeah.
This is what the Japan needs, because Japan completely closed the border. That's why Singapore government also closed the border to Japan, Japanese travelers. But Singaporean can travel to US so that he can travel to Singapore and then don't need to have a quarantine. That's good.
Yeah. And vice versa. You could travel to the US right now from Singapore. No problem.
I think Japanese prime ministers or the government, they're so old, you know.
But you know, living in different countries, governments are quite similar in ways. You know, in
I think,
at
you
the
know,
pace at which they pick things up.
I
I
think-
think New Zealand is super modern, right? Like in certain approaches, but governments often have, you know,
but due to the COVID, I think that some some of the industry makes so much money, like, you know, the PCR testing.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah, they're killing the money.
it's crazy.
I think these people probably want
So-
the, you know, COVID lasts longer, you know?
Whenever I travel to Canada, I need to get a PCR test, and it costs like, I have to get one 72 hours before I travel, at the most.
Right.
And I need to make sure that I get the result, of course, before I cross the border.
Right.
So in the US, you can get PCR tests for free if you're willing to gamble.
Right.
Like if it's okay, yeah, it could be 3 days, 4 days until you get the result. But when you're traveling, you can't gamble. You need to have the results within like a few hours, right? You need to have it, otherwise you can't travel. So then you have to pay for the COVID test, and they can be very expensive. It can be like $200.
You know,
Or $250.
I had to, one person had to pay a total of $600 to just get here for all the swab tests. Because I gotta do one in Japan,
Oh,
one in Singapore right away, and then after 7 days another one, and then another last thing is just serology test. So basically I gotta take a blood shot, because I got the Pfizer vaccine back in Japan, but my vaccine record was not in the Singapore system. So I gotta do the serology test to make sure that
you have a vaccine.
yeah. So then
Interesting.
they put trace together.
Yeah.
It said vaccinated. Before it said I'm
But the
vaccinated.
Trace Together app also requires you to register a booster shot. Do you have a booster?
Much. But I have 6 months from the second shot.
So you're gonna get your booster here then?
Yeah. I have. I already got the notification to be in. I need to get it.
Got it. Yeah, makes sense. That's good.
We order highball, and this is what they give it to us. It's like a ladies' drinks. I didn't order it. We don't order this, but this is what they give it to us.
Nice.
So Max, so most of my viewers, they want to make extra cash by online. Some of them are, you know, they have a small business. You know, I think from now on, think everybody should have extra cash point on top of whatever you do. That if you're working for a company, you should have your another income source to survive. Because even Japan, the tax getting higher,
Yeah.
the income is getting lower. So our Japanese government is down with the money, so that by the time when we get old, we don't get pension for sure. Because Japan is really, the population's, the diagram is like old people, young people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we cannot support our pension system. So by the time when we get old, we probably won't get any pensions. So but
Yeah.
we got to keep paying for that. So we really need to make our money and reinvest to, the stock market or crypto kind of thing.
Yeah, to diversify where you make income, right?
Yeah.
I think it's easier said than done.
What about US? Is it the same?
I think it's everywhere it's the same.
Yeah.
I think diversifying your income is a very smart long-term approach, but it's hard to do for most people. I think it's a very hard thing to worry about. You got usually your first income stream is like your job, and you work somewhere, and then you have kids, you have family, you have people you need to take care of. I mean, the time in the day, is quite limited. So you got to be really smart with how you invest your your time,
resource.
and you got to know when to give up, and know when not to give up.
Right.
Right. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
About just
So-
entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I have been entrepreneur for last 14 years. The reason why I was able to move to Singapore because I just didn't give up. I think a lot of entrepreneurs in Japan, they give up so fast. The problem is about opening up your own business because if you open your own company by yourself, nobody say anything to you. So it's a self-discipline is very, very key. Nobody's gonna say, "Hey, Max, you gotta work from 9 to 8," or nobody's gonna work. If you be successful, you don't do anything. Nobody's gonna say anything. That's why people just get lazy and to try some, and then he doesn't work out. Oh, he doesn't work out. I'm out kind of thing. People just give up so easy.
You got to be in it for the long run, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's tricky. That's a harder problem to solve and to overcome than you think. It's kind of like training.
Yeah.
Training to be an athlete,
Yeah.
right? There's a certain point where your investment, you don't see the payout, you don't see
Yeah.
the payout, you
Yeah,
don't see
yeah.
the payout, but then at some point you're getting above that cliff, right?
Exactly.
Right? And it's kind of like training to be like an Olympic athlete. That's basically what it is. And sometimes it looks like it's impossible, it's unnecessary, but perseverance kind of pays out, right?
Even my YouTube, I haven't even get the penny from YouTube advertising revenue for 805 video posting. I don't make any money. Did I give up? No. I'm really enjoying it. I'm here for long run. I think maybe 3 to 5 years down the road, I think it's gonna come up something. So I'm here for long run. So
Yeah. So kind of the secret then is to start with a few things and then don't give up on them,
Right.
right? Like think about them and then stick with it for the
yeah,
long run.
stick in it for a long time.
Right. I think, and
then most people cannot do it. There are so many overloaded with a lot of information, a lot of
Yes.
temptations, and
a lot of
then-
temptations, a lot of, and also I think socially now, it's kind of like this. Socially, you're kind of trained to throw things away, right? Even if you buy something, you don't repair it, you throw it away, right?
Right.
Like so, socially, we're very much used to not reusing something or recycling something, but to just basically throw it away and get something new, right? And I think that is the same idea also with work. Is if you don't persevere, you're not going to get necessarily that payout.
So Max, you told me before that you used to have a karaoke company. You used to have your own company and you sold to someone, right?
Yes. A couple of different internet businesses actually.
Yeah.
A couple of different enterprises, so to say, some small businesses. E-commerce as well. Done that early on. And
he has experience selling his company. I have never sold my company, so it's great.
The point really is, like before, right? It's just you need to just persevere through it and try different things. Sometimes you don't think it's worth it, but that's probably the worst time to stop.
Yeah, that's right. So in the US, a lot of people are also trying to do their own business. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think this is becoming much more, and I think it's the whole economy due to COVID, the whole kind of creator economy got much more attention. Like there's a lot of like micro influencers and mini influencers trying to make money online. Some are really successful.
Yeah.
Most are not successful. Right? There's a lot of content out there. That's probably good content that doesn't get monetized. But actually, all of that is in its infancy. So there's, I think, a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah.
And you saw it like with TikTok, for example.
Yeah,
right?
TikTok.
And TikTok had predecessors as well, like Vine, for example. And the reason why those things didn't really work out is because they didn't pay people. Right?
Yeah.
So I think that really changed things. And platforms nowadays are more and more gearing themselves towards paying creators for their work. So there are more opportunities now to make money than ever than ever before. And you got to be. It's a certain advantage to be early.
Yeah. So small.
I'd like to try something on the NFT, for example.
Yes.
Right.
So now is the time to jump onto NFT, metaverse. The reason why I was ready to make money because I started the eBay business early, I started Airbnb business early, I started crowdfunding business early. Over the course of 14 years of my entrepreneurial life, I moved fast in the 3 times. And this is how I made great money because I just simply moved very fast. So NFT, metaverse, yeah, I know there are a lot of opportunity out there as well.
Yeah. So then, what is the trick then? Like, how did you do it? For your viewers.
So I say, learn as you go. So a lot of people try to read a manual or try to study by books, and then they kind of forget about it. The daily routine. So I say, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start today, and then I'm gonna just improve it as I go. Yeah. So, because everything changes so fast, so you can never be perfect, So you should just start today, and then just adjust as you go. That's I think very, very important. You try not to be, okay, I'm gonna study first, and then go. By the time you study, the platform change and policy change and.
Sure. Yeah, that's I think that's a really good point, right? Like and I think I also find that the investment that you're making, even small investments, can really turn around quite a bit, right? Like you can think about building a business for hours and days and months and not do anything. There's nothing there,
right?
Or you can also say that even if you take 30 minutes a week to begin with.
Yeah.
I'm gonna register an account.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna now try to purchase something there.
Right.
I'm not gonna try now to get closer and closer to selling something or doing something. But if you do it, rather than talk about it or read about it, right? The return is so much more.
Exactly.
So much better, right? You just need to do it, even if it's super small steps. Actually doing it is kind of like reading a book, right? There's so many people who can,
You can read a book, but the output.
That's right.
Very mean.
Because there's great books out there, right? Really great books.
Yeah.
Most people know how to buy a book.
Yeah.
They buy it.
Yeah.
And there's only certain people who actually read it.
Yeah.
And there's only so many people who actually understand it.
And the execution.
And there's so many people who then actually do something about it, right? It's a smaller percentage. So that's kind of the secret about books as well. As there's hidden knowledge in there that most people just don't apply at all.
That's right.
Right? So just because the knowledge is out there doesn't mean that everyone applies that knowledge. It doesn't mean that.
Execution is very important.
Execution.
Even my YouTube video, I started to post my English video about 10 days ago. Before that, I only put the video in Japanese. But now I came to Singapore, and I want to start making more connection with Singaporean or rest of the world. So I started to post a daily video in English. And then my English is not that good, but I don't care. I just want to keep learning and keep doing it. And then I just learn as we go. I think that's very important.
I think so too.
So tomorrow, Max gonna rent a car, and then Max gonna show me the Singapore.
Around Singapore.
He just got here yesterday, and he's gonna show me the Singapore because I don't know the Singapore because I don't really go out.
It was working all the time.
He's working a lot in back in US, so we both need both time.
That's right.
So tomorrow I'm gonna show you guys more Singapore with Max. Thanks, Max. Cheers.
Cheers, Cass.
Wow, we got a lot of food.
Korean cauliflower.
Great.